Councilman Weiner's district, and out of respect to Councilman Weiner, I want to at least give him the opportunity to set the tone for the meeting. So,
Thank you, Larry.
I told you it didn't work.
Thank you, Larry. Everybody hear me? Okay, I want to set the tone. I just came from a memorial service for a professor. His name, Dr. Bertram Levin. He was my economics professor at University of Delaware. And he set a tone with his students. He said that critical thinking is the most important thing that we can emphasize. He always got angry with reporters, not because they were liberal or conservative, because they didn't understand the economics and the history when they began to talk to a person, interview a person. So with critical thinking, we have to look at both points of view. We need to understand each other. And I know I'm passionate about traffic congestion and school infrastructure limitations. And I also know that we need economic drivers, like the hundreds of millions of dollars that are going to be invested in this project by the Deladon family. I also know that we have wonderful homes that have great property values, and that's due in great part because we've got homes that have been supported by employees that work at what used to be AstraZeneca South, now JP Morgan, AstraZeneca North, which is now called
Avenue
North. Excuse me if I refer back to AstraZeneca North. And we have Nemours, we have Corporation Service Company, we have Insight, and these are the homes that are driving our community. Now, can we try to understand with critical thinking the important points of view, and even if we don't all agree, understand that economics and history is important? The economics say that we do need employment. Employment brings traffic. And for many of us who grew up in the 50s, you're the problem. It was a 2-lane road. Actually, the traffic was worse at times because we'd get behind a truck and we couldn't get anywhere. So other than rush hour, traffic flows pretty well. Now, having said that, there are projects that are discretionary, like Brandywine Country Club, and we in council can say no to it. There is another project that I said no to on Garden of Eden Road. I just got outvoted by other members of council. There are 13 members of council. For those of you that call me up and say, stop all development and make it a park, I'm sorry, I can't do that. There's this darned Constitution that says life, liberty, and property, and we own property and we can't compel somebody to make it a park. So, but if there's a willing buyer, we can compel a purchase through, let's say, putting deed restrictions on the land so that it doesn't have as much value. Now, the late Phil Cloutier, my mentor, and I negotiated a set of deed restrictions on what is now Alapoca State Park, Rock Manor Golf Course, Blue Ball Barn, all the roads. That was proposed for a regional shopping center like King of Prussia Mall. Oh. And it looked like in the cards it was a done deal. Just like Brandywine Country Club looks like a done deal. But you know what? Until a majority of the members of County Council vote for anything, it's not a done deal. But we did stop that project. Phil and I wrote a set of deed restrictions, negotiating with hard-nosed Alfred I. DuPont Trust attorneys, and it said, you can have traffic congestion. And there was no traffic congestion until finally we were rescued by AstraZeneca that came in and said, we'll buy the land and we'll work with you to get $140 million from the state of Delaware. And that wasn't $140 million. We bought all that land from the city of Wilmington, from Alfred I. DuPont Trust, And the gift that we have now, it could have been a regional shopping center, but it's open space preservation. But we made a deal with AstraZeneca and anyone that would own it after them. And that is that you own certain traffic movements. And we forgot that 5,000 people left the AstraZeneca site. There used to be a lot more traffic when AstraZeneca had more people. We also need to appreciate the fact that with office, everyone comes rushing at the same time. What's going to be proposed is a mixed-use project which doesn't have that same morning rush hour and evening rush hour crunch that we get with that kind of project. Because if it's amenity retail, if it's hotel, if it's residential, people don't necessarily have to drive during rush hour. Now, why is that important? Because rush hour is a horrible time to be on our roads. We all know that. We don't want that. And some, points of view. Some of us say, I shouldn't have to wait another 30 seconds, 50 seconds in a cycle. And others say, what's that worth? Isn't that 50 seconds worth the economic value that it's created? Well, both points of view are right. And with that in mind, I created an ordinance in 2000 that said no traffic congestion if you want to be an office. If you want to build an office in a congested area, you got to come through my ordinance. And what my ordinance says is you can't have employees driving during peak rush hour, morning or evening. Now that wasn't done before, but it's binding.
You're stealing my thunder.
Okay, sorry. In conclusion.
I paid for the hall tonight.
In conclusion, I just want to say that to my professor, Bertram Levin, my economics professor, let's dedicate tonight to critical thinking and respecting each other's point of view. And recognizing that whether you're a Democrat or Republican or whatever you are, nothing or everything, it doesn't matter. There's no Democrat or Republican way to save open space and preserve historic structures. So with that in mind, I turn it over to Larry Tarabikas. Thank you for coming to my meeting.
Thank you, Councilman.